Let's talk about artists working with photographers and making sure that your brand identity translates to still image. What's the process of coaching an artist to have their brand translate to photograph?
So much of what you retain or people retain is visual, right? So the photographs are one of the first things that you do when you start making your brand come to life. It's like right to the visual work, and photography is usually one of those first steps. So it's important that you just don't fall into the pattern of like, let's just go get some shots. My friend has an iPhone. Working with a photographer that matches your brand, I think, is a nice place to start. You find a photographer whose work is reflective of the type of vision you have for your brand. You could even do that keyword mapping exercise on the photographer. If it's a good match, then you do that.
Okay.
It's playing matchmaker first, a photographer whose natural instincts are going to be a good alignment for whatever you're trying to capture. I think what's more common these days is people are doing photo shoots for a specific song. I see a lot more of this these days, where a whole shoot is dedicated to a specific track or specifically to the EP. Sometimes it's like a general artist photo type of situation, but it's about like trying to capture the essence of your brand, specifically if we're going to get into brand identity, right? This is so much of how you show up even on set for a photography session. I work with a lot of different photographers who are very well schooled in personal branding, but also hero branding and character branding, because I work with them on that specifically. We'll create a lookbook based on the concept for the artist, and we'll go back and forth on it, and so that the photographer understands the vision. So I think coming to a photographer with a vision is really, really helpful. Otherwise, you just kind of dump it on them to come up with the vision, and then they may or may not hit it because they don't have the context yet. I've gone as far as having artists share their mission statement, resonant frequency, origin story, music, all of that with the photographer ahead of time. Because like writing for another artist, right? You want to learn about that person so you can write the song for them. Photography is the same. Like for a photographer, they want to learn about the artist or who they're shooting.
Right.
They want to really understand who they are. I'll play matchmaker with a photographer who's like the right style, and then it's about working with the artist to create a vision that's kind of born from their brand identity, that's either related to the song we're going to be promoting or a particular record, or just like the overall new branded concept for the next 18 months for them, right? So there's like some sort of theme that we're going to be going for. So we'll create that. We'll create some sort of a lookbook, or vision board, or a full branding guide. I've done that too, and just dump the whole thing to a photographer so they have an enormous amount of context going in. Mm-hmm. That helps the photographer know the artist better, so that when they meet and get together, they know how to disarm them. They've got a good understanding of their tone. They have some emotional context of them, so they can get them comfortable a little quicker. And then it becomes a focus on specific details, like location's really important. A lot of people just go out and get shots on train tracks or against a wall or a city skyline or a rooftop without any thought. Mm-hmm. And the location really matters, or it can tell a story. Distance to camera is a big thing. And you see this a lot. If you take a look at, let's say Adele, someone like Adele, an iconic artist, her last few rounds of photos that are related to her releases are all probably chest up, really close. So the distance to camera is close. Black and white, or like a little bit of a hue to it. And that stuff is on purpose. It's also on brand. When you get shots of someone close to the camera, that creates a sense of vulnerability or intimacy.
Yeah, because her songs are right up here too.
Right?
Right in your face.
They're right there.
Emotionally, yeah.
Right, they're right there. One of her promotional cycles, her main photo was a shot, basically a headshot, but it was her staring right into the camera, and it was striking. If you were to do a keyword map on that photo, you'd say powerful, beautiful, raw, vulnerable, stunning, and everything you'd associate with Adele. Right? So it's very, very on brand. And the black and white makes people think quality often when you think of black and white. There's some sort of timelessness to that and quality, which you'd also associate with Adele.
Yeah.
And so all these things factor in. So the way you get your shots should say something about your overall brand. So if somebody comes across it, they're doing that keyword mapping whether they know it or not. They're just doing it really, really quick in the background. But if you're thinking about these things before you get your shoot done, and then the shoot captures the essence of this, your brand is going to be really, really consistent and clear going out. And then the people who value things like quality, timelessness, vulnerability, raw, honest, a little edgy, beautiful, people who value those qualities are going to pick up on that in a photo and respond to it. And maybe even that will trigger them to look deeper.
I wish that every artist got to have this conversation with you before they took their pictures, because I struggled. I'm not a visual person, and a lot of people who make music are more aurally focused than visually focused. Everything you said is so valuable, and I hope that whatever pictures people are taking from this moment on are coming from that place of identity.
It's practical to do it that way. It just makes the work more focused, and you end up coming back from a shoot with more usable content than if you just go randomly walk around and shoot. Right? But this applies across the board. It can be whatever you want. If you're like a storyteller, or your brand is all about just being honest and being relatable, then shots that are more candid and less posed would be on brand.
Yeah.
So it goes into things like that too. If your personality is to be more behind the scenes or vulnerable or just quiet in nature, then posed pictures would be pretty off-brand. So I think it's about capturing who you are, and that's why we do all this work, so it informs a photo shoot. It makes the execution clear.